we have is the Thomas test. I'm going to move on and do the Faber's first, purely because the client is in this position, and then we'll finish off with the Thomas test. So the Faber's test. The Faber's test is telling us about a labrum tear. So if there's anything traumatic that's going on within the labrum for the client, and this is the labrum that will be wrapped around the fossa. So where the ball and socket joint meets, you've got this labrum, which is kind of a layer of kind of cartilage that's around that joint. And what you're looking to see is that as you move the head of the femur in that socket, if there is any injury done to the labrum there, then it would elicit pain for the client. Also, this can be an indication of anything going on in the sacroiliac joint. So even though you are checking for labrum, a client can often say as well, oh, I feel that in my lower back. Just ask where they're feeling it and what it feels like. All the kind of general questions we ask. So with the Faber's test, what we're actually doing is making the letter 4 with the legs. But if you break it down, it's flexion, abduction, and external rotation. So here's our hip flexion, here's our abduction, and here is our external rotation, should I say. Okay, so this is our Faber's test. So again, any pain here? No. Anything in the lower back? No. You really don't want to put an awful lot of pressure here. Just let the client come to the most comfortable position that they can. If they can rest the heel just above the knee, so they're on the opposite quad, and then let's see how much that the leg falls on the opposite side as well. So again, that might bring on any stretch tension or anything secondary that might go on with the client. Okay, so again, it's Faber's. So we have hip flexion, we have abduction, and then we have our external rotation. So like, I just call it like a 4. Okay, and this is our Faber's test. Okay, now so the last test that we have to do here is our Thomas test, often called the modified Thomas test as well. So again, we can do this in a couple of stages depending on what the client feels. So I'm going to hold my hand out, I'm going to sit up. You ready? 1, 2, 3, up we go. And you're going to move towards the edge of the couch. You might just pop off the couch there just for a minute. Perfect. Now, so what you need the client to do for this is checking for a tight psoas, tight rec fem. So what I want you to perch on the edge of the couch. So I don't want you to actually sit on it, just like as it just perch your bum on the edge of the couch. So we are going to start, you're going to do both sides, but for the client today we're going to start on the left hand side. So I want you to take the left knee up as close as you can towards your chest and hold on to it. There you go, be 2 hands around it, you can hold on to it. Now remember, a client might be coming to you in pain, might be coming to you with an injury. So remember, let them feel kind of supported, let them feel kind of secure that you're not going to cause them pain. So from here, I'm going to hold one hand to the front of the knee, one hand to the back, and I'm asking the client just to lie back on the couch. So you ready? 1, 2, 3, and support the client. Now from here, get the client to relax. Now even though it is the the left knee that they're holding, it is the right knee that we're assessing. So what we're looking to see is what happens with the hip and what happens with the leg. Now we've noticed that our client is staying in knee extension, which tells us that there's a very tight rec fem for starters. So if I ask the client just to relax and bring the leg back down, do you notice that? Just relax the leg, I'll do it there. Do you notice that's bringing on any pain or any stretch or any tension there? Okay. And the other thing looking forward to see is the tight psoas. So if you can slide your hand all the way underneath here, as in kind of extended lumbar or hyperlumbar lordosis, that can be indicative of a tight psoas there as well. Okay, so we're going to sit up and do the opposite side. So 1, 2, 3, help your client up. And now we're going to do the opposite side. So holding your right knee as close as you can to your chest. Again, support your client. 1, 2, 3, back we go. And now we can see what's happening here on the left hand side. So we can see that we have a little bit of knee flexion going on here, a little bit more than the last time. So which tells us that the rec fem isn't as tight as this side. And also, what is happening, can I put my hand all the way underneath? I can. So again, tight psoas going on there as well. Okay, so again, so this is what you're looking for. You're looking for the angle here, and you're also looking for the fall, how much fall that there is as well. And also again, asking the client, how does that feel? Have you any pain, any stretch tension, anything like that? Okay, we can also put a little bit of pressure here just to see, does that bring on any stretch? Also check the curve at the same time. Well, feeling okay, no pain or tension. You ready? We're going to sit the client up. 1, 2, 3, and up we go. So guys, that completes our spinal tests for today. So they're all in the book starting on page 243. So if you get a chance to open the book The list of them is also on the PowerPoint as well. On one of the slides we have a list of all the assessments, and then follow them practically as well. So practice, get your hands on, feel things, talk to your client, ask your client what they feel like. Remember, if anything gives you pain, you stop at that point of the test. Okay, thanks very much, and we're going to move on.